So just finished this book, The Intraterrestrials by Karen G. Lloyd, Professor Karen G. Lloyd, Wrigley professor, because she chews gums. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, it's Princeton Press, top shelf. Rating. Okay, by the way, before I begin, and I can cuss, I know because within 1 minute. And you ain't gonna see none of that ish, like zoom in, rating bars. No, no, no. If I have time to do edit those, even if it takes like freaking I don't know 1 hour or like half 30 minutes, then I'm not reading. I'm more interested in making it retention edit click. I don't care none of that. Okay, you ain't gonna see none of the zoom in and then a few minutes later. F that. F that. This is anti YouTube, anti production. This is my review. Just take out a flick and flip out a phone and just review book. Anyways, now the rant is over. The real rant will begin. So yeah, I started off with a 10. I mean, I went to the library today in the morning. I was reading not Don Quixote. What's it called? Robinson Crusoe. It was called the children's edition. What is the children's edition? Oh, I'll show you later. Not children's edition, but it's an abridged one. But still, it was boring as if. And then I went to the library. Thought I'll check out a new book. This is the first book I see, and without a question, I pull it out because the title is so provocative. And I do think she should be Joe Rogan guest. Probably they differ in politics. I don't know. I don't care. But this is she has like a lot of fodder for it to be Joe Rogan. This is what Joe Rogan would like. Because yeah, this is the alien aspect which I'll get into later. She never touched on that because she's a hardcore scientist. I mean, it's Princeton stuff. It's top shelf. Now, yeah. So start off at a 10, then went downhill 8. It was 8 for a while. Then it became 6. I'll give it around 6 or 7, 6, 7, 6 or 7 because I mean, well, the thing is, I expect like right off the bat she starts off with a submersible or coffin. How is it? It's like very scuba diving ish, and even she even mentions the name of the crane. I mean, I don't care none of that. When I what I care about Interterrestrials. So what this book missed, yeah, I'll give it a 7 or 6, basically 6.5, because it missed the sense of wonder. This is why I absolutely loved this. My favorite was this photo of her. Look at her. She was a kid and she like found some hermit crab. Was it? No, a horseshoe crab. And this is with her brother back in the 80s, the 80s computer. And yeah, like you look at her, like she had the ear to ear green. I think she lost the sense of like wonder and enchantment. And I haven't read any other Goodreads review, so those can be brutal. They can just be personal or whatever. But I don't care about that. But I read the Amazon reviews and people, at the end she had a screed about mining and like it became metallurgical. She started off scuba diving. Then at point is like how to drill cores, like drilling. I mean, I think none of that. It just get into that subject matter itself is interesting. I wanted to hear more about this not cyanobacteria, this bacteria, this micro, this, and it's gonna be abstract because at one point I think the TV reached out to them, the team, and said how will it look on TV, and she's gonna be like mud. So you'll hear back from us because it's mud, it's abstract bacteria, microbes, freaking, and that's the thing. But still, you can like this is. I have another book that I'm planning to read soon, Microbe Hunter. It does possess the sense of wonder. It's written in the 1800s or something, and this is a very new book. So, and again, I'm rambling right now. I'm like riffing. I'm in the pocket, jazz. Oh, Louis Armstrong, Conor McGregor. Okay, June 2025. So it's very new. I'm privileged to have this. You just walk into the library and just pull out a cutting edge book, and it's a very cutting edge title. So I was more interested in the intelligence of it. How does it? Is there a network? How do they communicate? But it became more of a hyper because she's a PhD and like she's become hyper analytical. It's almost like there's a beautiful dish in front of you, Thai dish, and I'll get into the Korean dish later. It's Thai dish, and you just break it apart. Oh, it's too salty. The chemical pattern. It breaks down into chemicals, color. That's what scientist does. It sucks the soul out of it. So there was no sense of wonder in that book other than those photos. And she passively mentioned Holoturian, which I immediately loved, and I couldn't find, and took a freaking 10 minutes just to find it. And it's like sea cucumber. That's her favorite thing. And because I made a video on my alternate channel, the weirdest 49 weird alien animals, and gets weirder and weirder. And I mentioned siphonophores. I was one of the weird alien animals, and I think Holoturian was one of them. So that's why I just she passing a mention. And that's the thing. It took me a whole day to finish it. I checked it out in the morning, so probably like 6 hours. I don't even know. 30 minutes per. Um, well, 50 minutes probably is for one. It takes probably 2 hours, 50 pages, 2 hours. So they're like 250 pages, around 240. So it's like, wait, yeah, about 6 hours. It took me a whole lot of time, but it's just a page turner. The style is very good, lucid page turner, but it's not something that you can put down. Yeah, you can't put down. Yeah, you can put down, because she talked. And the core, I don't care none of that. She's like, she was more concerned more about the mechanics, the analysis, the finding, the science, the sciencey stuff, than the actual subject matter, which is interterrestrials. And that's where the core thing is, where you should. Word that kept coming up was, other than serpentinization and cadaverine, that I love because she only passingly mentioned it, just like halophil, which is a lover of salt. Yeah, these, if you see, I read fast. Like, I devote this. It took me a whole day to devote a whole day for this book, but I still read closely. So like, and sometimes if you just skim, or like you read too fast, don't give the due diligence, you miss stuff. Like, she's not afraid of snake. There was a terrarium. She wanted a snake. There's a her boat is called sunfish. Anyways, the point being, chemo lithoautotrophy. That word kept coming up. It's a mouthful, but the way to remember it is chemotherapy, lithograph, auto. I'm just saying, they're giving reference, automobile, trophy, like a trophy. So you combine all them. It has to do with chemo, probably some chemical, litho, what wood? I don't know. So, not wood. Like, I don't know what lithograph is. And auto means auto, like, by itself, and trophy, like wastage. So whatever, it's a reaction. The aha moment was the best, the thing of the meme, the creme de la creme of the we think it questions life as we know it. What is life? And he talked about breathing rocks and inverse breathing. Imagine thinking of it. It's almost like taking a bong hit and asking, what is life? What is breathing? What is, because it's like you easily break it apart, abstract and abstract, until you get to energy. And she talked about Gibbs. Was it Gibbs? Gibbs free energy, something like that. But whatever. So that's the thing. She went. It's a geomicrobiology book, but that wasn't enough of the microbiological content, the bacteria. She mentioned it. So yeah, so we think of photosynthesis, light, life. That's how it happens, and that explodes, expands. Like, what? Maybe that's not it. There are some bacteria which thrives off sulfur or acid, then freaking, I don't know, freaking volcanoes, mud, alkaline, acidity, pH very low. In harsh conditions, like, yeah, a lot of. And that is the core thing, is thesis of the book, basically, like all this. And it wasn't, she didn't devote much to those organisms. It's more of her. And I don't mind the meandering detour of her own life, like how she almost, there was explosion of volcano almost like after 4 or 5 days of her uh, doing her studies. I mean, it's the samples or whatever gathering. And also the hypothermia, when she went to with the skiff, but whatever. So yeah, yeah, it's a 6.5 book. I wish she devoted more on the microbiological stuff, but yeah, and yeah. So chemo, lithoautotrophy. That word will come again. Again, serpentization will come. Cadaverine only came once. What the hydrogen ammox, that part. So it's basically, it talks a also reaction. Like, what is it? It talked about thermodynamics of that, and the reaction, the ATP, like. And I don't like her analogies. Like, I love the Korea story, Korean food, where but I don't think that was necessary at that point. But I love the story. Like, it's almost like you could have fit it in a different way. It's like she drew an analogy. The jump she made was like the jump of. It was just too broad, and it's like most of her analogies. There was another part I forgot, where it's about spending money with the ATP energy. There was this weird analogies, but that's my only criticism, and I'm sure she's big girl to take it. She's a professor or whatever. But yeah, that's, I mean, I wish a sense of wonder was there, and she did. I'm not talking about like making it entertaining, like clickbaity, or like this retention editing. Like, she talked about Missy Elliott once and Tyre Cruz once, but that's not the point. The point being, let the subject matter itself, like, okay, alien, like, that's I'm not saying she should have talked about aliens, but it's like that question, what is life? Because if we have just real alien like creature subsurface, this like interterrestrial, which is a network of microbes or whatever, and she said they're 10,000 times more cellular species in cellular organisms than stars in under Earth, something like that. Don't quote me on that. So the point being, so yeah, how did is a network? I think we have this giant alien almost in inside our Earth, inside our crust, and we'd have to go to other planets. But so that makes you wonder if organism can survive without photosynthesis. It questions life as you know it, and it does affirmatively guarantee, not guarantee, oh yeah, almost guaranteeingly guarantees that the fact life could be plethora in spoonful, not in spoonful, but in freaking mudslides all throughout the universe. Because if you agree that it doesn't have to be this how we define it. And she also talked about thermodynamics, like the breathing rocks, like of periodic table. So there someone could come up with a breathing rock table, period table. Like what I mean by that is like how it, because breathing is, she broke down into chain, as I said, like a bong hit and like giving like exploding the meaning behind it, the abstract. Like yeah, it's like very category theory of math. Like, but anyways, I think homie Z has Polymath Leon Da Vinci wannabe, frequently on Batista Alberti has smoking, Mike drop, homie, body this. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, go back, go and find my name and find my real channel. This is I can contain Conan can contain him. So, but yeah, okay. So what is a meh book? Yeah, and other than that, I think I have touched on everything. Yeah, but it's okay. This is an active volcano. I don't think I've touched pretty much everything. PCR. I think she's a corona person. Yeah, because I mean, she give a screed about mining and whatever. I can none of that. I mean, she should have just talked more about. And she did talk about Volterra and other scientists like 1926, especially they came up. I think 1926, 50s. I don't know the way, but yeah, Nobel Prize winners. But she didn't mention Linnaeus, surprisingly, and she mentioned the film mentioned what was the kingdom film. She mentioned something the mnemonics to remember the mnemonics. But what if you forget the mnemonics? Okay. Peace. Subscribe.